If you've made it to this video, you're well on your way through the Nearpod Travel Through Geologic Time. By now, you should have completed these questions in your DIN pages, and you should be working on or getting ready to do Step 2. These are the steps you follow to complete your calculations, A, B, C, D, E, F. Here are my calculations for my birth date, October 7th. When you get to this point, you need to make sure that you round correctly. So here is my calculated birth date. In geologic history, I was born 1,071,232,874.5 years ago. So I need to find my millions digit, which is the 1, and then I need to look and decide, with a 2, I stay the same. If I was 5 and above, I would round this number up to a 2, but I'm going to chop it off and I'm going to round it to 1,071 MYA, or millions of years ago. This is the number I'm going to use when I do my research. Now you are ready to begin your research, and I'm going to walk you through how to use these few slides that appear in the Nearpod. As you do your research, you're going to record your research inside of your DIN page, Step 3. You're going to be looking for information to put in here that you can later put in your poster. When you click on the Wikipedia link, it's going to take you to Wikipedia. At the top of Wikipedia, you need to go to For Table of Geologic Time if it doesn't already take you to this section of the Wikipedia page. On this page, notice these headings going across the top. These are your major time periods: supereon, eon, era, period, epoch, and age. These are some major events, and you're going to focus in for now on this. In this millions of years ago column, you are going to find your calculated birthday. And remember, when we did our birthday calculations, we had to first calculate how much one day in our 365-day timeline represents. And one day represents 12.6 million years. My birthday falls 1,071,000,000 years ago. So I'm going to try and find 1,071 million years ago on my timeline. So if I click back over here on this timeline, this is in millions of years ago. So I'm going to find the 1,071 number over here. Where does my 1,071 number fall? So I have to keep scrolling down until I get into the billions. So now I'm in an area where I can say 1,071 falls between these numbers here. When using this time scale, you have to remember that the number that appears in the box represents the bottom of the line. So this box right here, 1,000 is the top and 1,200 is the bottom. And my number, 1,071, falls between those two numbers. So my time of being born occurs here. So I come over here and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 time periods that have names on them. You have to get at least 3. So I'm going to pick Proterozoic, Mesoproterozoic, and Stenian as my 3 terms that I'm going to write in my Step 3 box. If I scroll up to the top of these columns, I can find out that those columns are titled Eon, Era, and Period. Some of you are going to have to go with supereon, eon, and era, depending on how far back in the time scale you fall. Keep in mind, as you work with this time scale, that the beginning of Earth occurs all the way down here. This is Earth's beginning. This would be January 1st. So if your birthday is in January, you are down here at this end of the time scale. Notice that there are only 1, 2, 3 columns over here. So these would be your 3 columns that you pick for your 3 names on your worksheet. My birthday, October 7th, fell in here. So if your birthday occurs after mine in the rest of October or November or December, your birthdays will fall this way. And as I go this way, I get closer to December 31st, which would be all the way up here at this end of the time scale. And at this end of the time scale, you have extra time periods, but you either need to pick the super eon, era, if you're all the way down at the bottom, or as you get towards the top, you pick the eon, era, and period. Also, you can notice that most of these things are links, and you will be able to use these links to do some of your research. Now you are ready to begin your research. You're going to start your research here on this page, and you're going to go to your birthday area. So my birthday was October 7th, and it fell in this time period. And I need to write down my 3 time periods, my Stenian, my Mesoproterozoic, and my Proterozoic time periods on my DIN pages. So I'll open up my DIN pages, and I've typed in my eon's name is Proterozoic, era is Mesoproterozoic, and my period is the Stenian period. If you're farther back on the timeline, you're going to look up your super eon, and era and type those in here. Then you're going to use some information that I give you to help you find information to go in the physical Earth research and your biological Earth research. So back at your Nearpod, I've given you some links to some sources. Wikipedia, like I showed you, has great resources. Paleos has some great resources, and I've given you a list of other websites. I'm going to show you how to use this Paleos website. Once you click on the Paleos link, it takes you here, and it says you need to scroll down until you see the timeline like I had on that page. So here is the timeline that was shown on that page. Then again, many of these things in here are links. Over here on the right-hand side of the page, you have your millions of years ago, just like on the other timeline. And you can click on these links to take you to sections of the timeline and find some other areas, information, pictures, in order to do your research. For instance, my birth date, I know, fell in the Proterozoic, so I can click here, and then I can scroll down and I find information on the Proterozoic, and in the Proterozoic it gets even smaller. Here's the Mesoproterozoic, and I can click on the Mesoproterozoic, and I can see that in the Mesoproterozoic it has divisions within it, and I can click on the Stenian period and find information specifically regarding the Stenian period. Now, keep in mind, these websites that we're using are living research documents. Universities, students, researchers are continuously updating these. So from year to year, these look different. They keep researching and finding information about what was going on in Earth's history. So what you're finding today might look different than what somebody found on your same birthday a year ago, because they're continuously doing research. So use those websites that I gave you as resources to find information about physical Earth and biological Earth. Physical Earth relates to things like the Earth's atmosphere, its temperature, the oceans, the continents, the landforms, Earth, volcanic eruptions, meteor events, all kinds of things dealing with the physical layout of the Earth. Biological Earth refers to things relating to biology, and in biology we study life. We look at life forms, types of life. Where does life exist on the Earth at this point in time? What types of life? Are there extinctions? Are there new species that come about? What are things going on in the Earth that are prime for hosting life or bringing life forms about? Then you're going to take the information from your box in step 3, and you're going to put that information into your poster. Your poster is on slide 4. You're going to type in your name. My birthday was October 7th, and it was 1,071 million years ago. And then I'm going to type in the name of my eon, era, and period. Or if you were a person that had to change it to your super eon, and era, please make sure you change these headings. You're going to fill in the information of what was happening physically and find a picture to insert here that shows an event that was happening. What was going on biologically, put your information here. Find a picture to show something about biological life happening on Earth during your time period, and come up with a one-liner or a short slogan to represent an important event in your time period here. Then to finish your time, I want you to explore, be curious, find out about some things. And so I've sent you to Eons, a YouTube page, and a great place to start on this YouTube page is scrolling all the way to the bottom, and they've got a short video here that tells you about this channel, what they do. If you watch just the first minute of it, it tells you a little bit about the history of this channel and what their goal is. And then you can try and find some videos in these playlists and see if there's anything that's interesting, curious to you, or maybe you can find a video over your time period and learn a little bit more about the time period of when you were born according to our 365-day Earth timeline. So I hope you learned a little bit about Earth's history as we traveled through geologic time together.